Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the IB UBU show. I'm your host, Antoine. Some people call me Uncle Antoine, although I'm not actually an uncle, Victoria, just so you know. Uh, I don't have any
That's a
nieces or
story
nephews.
I feel like you'll need to fill on later.
I will tell you about that. I will. Yes, this is the show where we talk about all things about leadership and success stories and career journeys. And with me today is none other than Victoria Bowman. Victoria is the founder and principal consultant at the Rosewood Group, which is an organization that creates meaningful, lasting success by focusing on what truly matters to their people. Their people. So, um, I know we met at Pepperdine Waves Weekend a couple of months ago now, I guess, or 6 weeks ago or so, and we share Pepperdine MSML as something that we have in common. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that and learn more about your decision to start your own business and obviously your MSML journey and generally your leadership sort of journey and career path. Is there anything that I left out about you that you think is important for people to know?
No, that's perfect. I'm a mom,
Yeah.
loved Pepperdine, Rosewood, I'm really passionate about. So I'm just excited to dive into all of that. And I honestly wouldn't be here without the MSML program. So
Mm.
I think it's great that that's where we connected.
Yeah, okay. Cool. So we will definitely talk about that. And thank you for reminding me, of course, you are a mother of three, I believe.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So that's significant. And definitely one of the things that I wanted to explore. Um, so let's begin with first. I'm just curious. I was looking at your profile. I'm always fascinated to see um, the areas of expertise in your studies. And prior to Pepperdine and your master's degree, you got a bachelor's degree in criminal justice in law enforcement administration. So I'm just curious. Obviously, um, that's interesting. What made you choose criminal justice and law enforcement? Was that from a career perspective, perhaps, or something else?
It was. I think as an undergrad, you're not even really sure what you want at that time. And
Okay.
I know it doesn't seem like these things are connected, my career now and law enforcement, but they very much are because deep down, all I wanted to do ever was help people. And I thought that avenue I could be in criminal justice. And I wasn't even sure what avenue I would do my career in at that point. I wasn't a police officer. I didn't necessarily want to be, but I explored that. I was going to go to post and be an officer. So I started with my bachelor's degree there and started doing dispatch work. And that was all rooted in feeling like I wanted to help my community in some way. I think even as a child, I've been very passionate about that. And so I thought that would be a great way to start. And during that time, I fell in love with it actually. And I spent my career in that field for almost 6 years. I thought I would be there forever. But I just decided eventually that the lifestyle wasn't for me. I did feel like I helped people. It was very fulfilling. So fulfilling, it was hard to find a job when I made a career shift that made me feel fulfilled in that sense.
Interesting. So you said something a couple of times that resonates for me. You said you like to help people. So is that something that just you feel is innate in you? And if so, like where did that come from?
Yeah, it might be a mix
Mhm.
because it's that question that I always have, like, are people born with
Mm.
certain like passions, or is it something that is created from childhood or interest? But nevertheless, I have always felt that way. And I think it does come from my childhood, probably experiences I've had seeing the community around me and society around me that struggles. And I think even as a small child, I always asked myself, why? like, why aren't more people helping these people? It doesn't seem like that big of an ask. And I've always pondered on that. So, as my undergrad and my career in law enforcement, it was kind of this low hanging fruit where I am going to help these communities and anyone that I can. So, I volunteered a lot at that age, and my career obviously was very fulfilling in that sense. But yeah, I think I probably was kind of innately born with that passion as
Mm,
well.
mm. Yeah, you mentioned the childhood experiences, and again, like you, I have said I like to help people. That's the simplest way I sort of describe my why. And obviously, there's many different ways we can help people. The childhood connection, though, because I've often wondered, like, where does that come from in
Mm-hmm.
me? Although I had a difficult upbringing, I don't know that that's why I am the way I am. So,
Hmm.
in your case, do you think you went through certain experiences that led to this, or again, is it something that you think just manifested itself naturally? It was already sort of inside you.
Yeah, I my childhood was unique and difficult, and it's something I actually haven't talked about publicly or connected my career or story of growth until recently in this last year. But I've been very passionate about it because it's something that's so hard to talk about that so many people do not talk about it. But the people that are around us at all times probably have these
Um,
deep um, experiences or wounds or trauma, whatever you want to call them, that does shape them into who they are. So I appreciate the avenue where I can.
mm,
My childhood, I grew up very poor in poverty. I grew up in Redding, California, and my family was, I would say it's like a broken family. A few divorces and single parents that were very young. And looking back on it now, I have so much empathy for them. It's wild because I am now the age that they were when they had four kids, just trying to make it. My mom was in nursing school at night, and my dad was working security jobs and random jobs here and there. So I think I just saw a lack, and I experienced lack. And for those who have never felt that before, I'm so grateful they have not. And then the people who have, and maybe they've come out of it on their own will, or people that have helped them around or helped around them, I think they probably have an innate sense of always wanting to help people that may have not had those opportunities, and they're still stuck in a situation that they didn't choose to be in.
I got it. I got it. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Um, uh, I'm also a parent. My wife and I have two children, and I definitely gained a better understanding and appreciation for my parents when I became a parent myself. Do you feel that becoming a parent yourself helped give you some additional insights and understanding to your parents, perhaps?
Oh, so much. So much. Um, I had a pretty broken relationship with my parents, my dad specifically, for a while. And I think that was just on my own behalf of just growing up and maybe feeling bitter and not understanding things. And then as I became a parent, the empathy there is like we're so close now. There's so much connection and healing because they did so much for me
Mhm.
in ways that I didn't realize it at the time, but the sacrifice that they gave me and
Yeah.
continue to is all out of love, and it's just so much appreciation.
Yeah. And then how old are your children? Mine are 17 and 14. How old are yours?
Yeah, I have a 13-year-old son, 3-year-old girl, and 1-year-old son.
Okay. All right. So two of them are very young, and your
Mhm.
13-year-old may not yet be at this phase, but I'm dealing with my oldest son who's 17, where um, he just doesn't want my wife and I to, lecture him or teach him anything anymore. He just wants to
Mhm.
do his own thing. And of course, the irony is I didn't listen to my parents either at
Yeah,
that
I
age.
know, same.
So why am
Oh,
I shouldn't be surprised, right? That,
yeah, my poor parents from like 15 years old to 18. I'm sure it was really tough for them because I was
yeah.
in your son's
Uh,
phase for sure.
yeah. So have you ever thought about that consciously? I have more so lately because, again, of this interesting place that I'm at in my life where my parents are still alive.
Mhm.
And I'm a parent and have children who are the age where I was. So it's kind of interesting sitting in between and trying to see the world through their eyes, my parents, as a parent, myself, but then also seeing the world through my oldest son's eyes, because I
Mhm.
was I was him once. So I found it just kind of, and I just it hit me sort of like earlier this year. Um, so I don't know. Have you ever thought about that as far as that interesting sort of place where you might find yourself as a parent and still having being the child of parents.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and I mean all the time to answer your question. And I am very lucky to be very, very close with my mom, and we talk about it a lot. Like I get her advice, and I also think our kids in this generation in society, they have it hard. Um, I think you and I are probably dealing with a lot of things that our parents didn't. And so it's nice to have a soundboard of a parent that's gone through it and maybe a fresh perspective of like, I don't know, all the craziness in the world right
mhm,
now. It's just really nice and grounding to have that and feel really lucky.
mhm, mhm. You just mentioned all the craziness in the world.
Hmm.
So I think I know what you mean, but I don't want to assume. Um, uh, do you want to give me an example of what you mean by all the craziness in the world?
In terms of my 13-year-old son, social media,
Yeah,
um, school curriculum, and just
yeah,
constant things that I'm trying to rephrase and trying to create a path where he does feel safe and he doesn't feel like he's growing up too quickly and he's not pressured to grow up too quickly. There's been a lot of that where I never dealt with some of the things he was dealing
right.
with until later. And so
Mm.
jumping into that abyss of unknown for both him and me, it's just been interesting and sometimes discouraging, but it also gives us a really good path of communication and openness between us.
Got it. Okay. I'm glad I asked you to give me an example because I feel the same way you do, but I would have probably given different examples. Um, um, so, right. When I grew up, there was before the internet. There was no social media. There was no emails. There wasn't texting. There weren't mobile phones yet. Um, uh, and I've joked even with my son, and I've said, "Thank goodness for that," because if any of the dumb things that I did when I was his age were caught on tape, I'd probably be in jail right now. So I warned him. I said, hey, the margin for error is like very slim because chances are, if you do something stupid, it's going to get caught on tape, and the whole world will potentially see it.
Oh,
So
for sure. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I was in high school before Facebook, Instagram, anything like that. And I
yeah,
say the same thing. I'm so grateful. A funny story, very short, is the man who did my background interview for my first police job also gave me my first juvenile ticket for taking my mom's car at 15. So, if that was caught on camera, then yeah, I'm so glad that I
yeah,
was not in that phase. And Luke
uh-huh,
doesn't have social media yet. So,
yeah. So here's my thoughts on some of what you said. I'm curious to hear if you agree or disagree. And part of the messaging that I would give to my kids and anybody that's interested and might find themselves in the same situation. I definitely think if you watch the news, and whether that's on social media or traditional sort of legacy media outlets, you could certainly get the sense that the world is sort of in a really bad place because we're
Mhm.
seeing the worst of the worst, you know?
Yes.
And um, I recognize that there's legitimate sort of issues, but I wonder like how pervasive it really is because like in my community and the interactions I have every day with people in my neighborhood, when I go grocery shopping or whatever, if I go to a restaurant, people are very polite and friendly and cordial. And it's like, so I try not to lose sight of sort of like reality.
Mhm.
Um, Again, acknowledging that there are certainly things, issues, but trying to put it in perspective as far as like, maybe while there's certainly issues, it's not as bad as it's being portrayed on the news, because oftentimes, remember, the news is interested in getting views and likes and clicks, etc. So any thoughts
Mhm.
on that as far as just keeping
Oh yeah.
positive and optimistic and not letting the negativity bring us down?
Yes, I could have a whole podcast about this actually. This is something that our household really lives by. We can control what we can control in our house. We call it our nest, and the outside world is outside. The minute you come inside our home, it is the nest. And yes, there are passionate topics and initiatives and all of these things that could be around us, and you could have passion about that and be involved in it. We'll support you. I have my own passions, but the minute it starts affecting your mental health under our roof is when we're going to kind of take control of that, right? So I think it's really not just with politics or the news. It's very important to protect your peace and allow in what makes you a better person and keep everything else out and be deliberate about that.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And it was definitely a conscious decision on my part within the last couple of years. And uh, uh, happy to say that my experience at Pepperdine is a part of what got me there, which brings
Mhm.
me to, asking you why Pepperdine and why a master's in management and leadership?
Yeah. Oh man, I love this because it was so out of the blue. I It kind of goes back to me shifting careers from law enforcement. I went into a startup and then I was a paralegal for a while. And then I went into third party logistics and then finally corporate, like big corporate, the biggest tech company you could possibly be hired by, and real estate company. And I thought I'd made it. Like I was so excited. I got this job. It's going to be a good culture. Um, and I was there for 5 years in the same role with promotions and things like that. I eventually got up to a director level, and that's kind of what I was chasing, was the title, right? Like the pay and the title. I'm going to go up the ladder and make a reputation for myself in this environment. And I just found myself really unhappy every step of the way because of the environment around me, and I wasn't helping anyone. It was very profit based, and everyone around me, my team, everyone at the company, not, I shouldn't say everyone in blanket statement, but I would say the overall consensus is that most people are very unhappy at work. It is a very much, I can't wait to get out of here. I wish I had more PTO. And I get it, it's work, and that's what we got to do to pay the bills, right? But I also think it is so possible to have a positive culture with leaders that care about not just profit, not just the deliverables and initiatives that they're launching, but the people that are sitting at their desk and doing that work. And it just, there was something that kind of sparked this interest, and there's got to be something. I wanted my master's, so I was considering an MBA, and doing my research on it, I just realized like that's not going to get me where I want to be. I'm not going to get the job that I want. So I just started digging and doing research for a perfect program. Looked at the curriculum, talked to a lot of people, admissions, and things like that. I found Pepperdine, and I'm in Utah for reference. So it's not something I've ever been associated with or close with. And I've had no family members go. Um, but I knew in my gut and just like divine inspiration, I believe. Like this was for me. It was like I just knew it. I was so excited. Um, and yeah, so it was a very conscious decision to go back to school and find this program. But I do believe like this program was so meant for me and it's completely changed my life. It's been amazing on every level.
Yeah, that's great. And most of what everything you said resonates for me because I found myself in a similar situation. Um, yeah, knowing that I wanted an MBA, but when I found out a master's in management and leadership existed, I was super excited because I was like, oh, that's really what I care about. I'm going to go do that. Um, and is part of your experience at Pepperdine and getting your master's in management and leadership what gave you sort of maybe the energy or the decision? What drove you to leave sort of corporate and start your own thing with Rosewood Group?
Yes, I did not have the intention of starting my own business actually, probably until halfway through the program. As you know, it's very immersive. It's not just reading books and doing an online school. It's very immersive. You have a lot of experience face to face with different companies and professors and teams and projects, and I really fell in love with it when it comes to really serving people in a different way and helping people find different solutions and learning topics that can help their happiness, essentially, right? And so I knew halfway that, okay, wait, I'm really good at this. Like I started realizing first of all, I always like love to work. I have a good work ethic. I never thought I was going to stop working. But I had this light bulb moment where I could work for myself and I could take these teachings into my mission and my values and my goals and start something really amazing because there's not a lot of companies out there that would want to consult like I consult or do trainings like I provide trainings based on what I'm learning here. I got really passionate about what I was learning and I felt like there was no other way to do business for a sustainable success sort of perspective. It was really a light bulb moment for me. So halfway through, when we have these discussions about what do you want to do with your degree after, and I kind of kept it close to my chest for a while that this was my goal. I was going to start my own business after because that's kind of scary to say out loud, to just put it out there for either the judgment from people, imposter syndrome, whatever it may be. But I started to. I just took the leap and was confident in myself and was like, yeah, I'm going to start my own consulting business and training and workshops. And I think the more that you do say your goals and you're passionate out loud, then you have more confidence, but you also get a support system around you. And that's what the MSML program did for me. They supported me and knew that this was my goal. So, I got a lot of mentor support and a pathway for success really before I even started.
Mhm. That's great. And I'm sure part of that is also the support from in your home. Like I know in my case, before I embarked on the MSML, I asked my wife, I said, hey, if I do this, it's going to be a considerable time commitment. I was working full time, and obviously I wanted to still be a good husband and a parent. Is that a conversation you had internally at home and making sure you had sort of that alignment and support?
Mhm. Yeah. My husband, he works full time. I was also working full time. We had a 1 year old daughter, and I was really worried about how that was going to work. And so we really just talked in depth about it. And he's he just cheers me on. Like, whatever you want to do, we will figure it out. We'll just make a plan for us. Speaking of, they just got home. So if you hear little baby footsteps, you might, that's them. And he was so supportive. We just shifted communications, everything, right? We just shifted our routine. And when we got home from work, I would do dinner and then he'd do bedtime and I'd go to school. Um,
Mm.
and he was really supportive. And then I got pregnant halfway through. So we had boy babies coming. I was actually
Yeah.
like 32 weeks pregnant when I graduated, actually. Yeah. So
Nice.
it was a
That's
crazy time.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So you're coming up on a year, I guess, since you started the Rosewood Group.
Yes.
Tell us about your first year. What are maybe some of the lessons, maybe some of the high notes, and maybe some things that that you had to learn through experience?
Yeah. So I started right before January last year, and I knew it wouldn't be a quick, I have all these clients, and I knew it would take some time. I will start with the positive stuff first and then
Yeah,
go into maybe some lessons learned. I had this theory of I'm going to say yes to everything. Everything that comes to me, like just conversation. Someone wants to have lunch, someone wants to network. And that's a little out of my comfort zone. And I knew that that was going to be the biggest thing holding me back. I went into it knowing, like, what's my weakness? That's my weakness. It's hard for me to network myself, sell myself. And so from the very start, I just promised myself, well, this is my weakness. How am I going to fix it? And made a plan. And I feel like that helped me grow a lot quicker than I anticipated. And it, I have, I honestly grew quicker than I anticipated. And that's the best way to put it. And I think it is because I identified my own weakness that would be holding me back. Um, and now I have clients, I have different press stuff, and I'm really involved with my community. I was just recently nominated for Women of Impact with the American Heart Association. And so we're doing a lot of stuff locally and nationally. And it's just like, it's all of these things coming together. And I know it's because I said yes at the very beginning. And now I'm just used to saying yes. And I'm comfortable in those situations now. So it's just been such an amazing year. I'm very
that's
happy.
great. That's
Yeah.
great, and I'm happy for you. I know you said your family has gotten home, so I don't want to keep you too much longer. There is one other question I wanted to ask you, though. Um, as a hiring manager, I've had over the years some female employees who felt like they didn't want to start families because it would prevent them from getting to where they wanted to go from a career perspective. In your case, you seem to be managing both your career and your being a mom simultaneously. What message you have for women that might feel they have to choose one or the other and that they can't do both?
Ooh, I love this question because I've reflected on this a lot in my experience. And just a message to the women out there, our society right now, whether you're on TikTok, Instagram, cultures at work, whatever it is, the message to us is that if you like to work and you want a successful career, that also must mean that you don't want to be a mom and that you don't thoroughly enjoy it, or you don't want to be at home, or you'd rather be at work. Like, that's the messaging. And so I feel like there's a pathway for women right now, and they feel like there's a fork in the road because that's what we're being told,
Mhm.
that if you want to go to work, you're not a good mom. If you want to stay home with your kids, you don't want to work. And that's just not the case. And I want to break that stigma. I talk about it a lot, actually, because I think it's really unfair to women that have a passion and they enjoy work for whatever reason, um, that they can completely do it. And they can love being home with their kids and be sad when they have to go to a meeting or do a work trip, like, it's not something to make fun of. And that's the culture of women right now. Or if they are working too much and they're going on too much travel, the stay-at-home moms are kind of harping on, like, why do you want to be away from your kids? And it's just a really hard place to be for women. And I encourage women that want both. You can totally have both. I've done it as a single mom, and I have done it with a very supportive husband. Um, so that's my message, really.
Okay. So in a and you seem to be doing it very well, and you're setting a great example, I think, for anyone who might not be sure if they can do both and if they have to choose one or the other. Um, is there anything that I haven't asked you about that you want to share that you think is important for anyone watching to either know about you or if they want to learn more about, again, Rosewood Group and anything that is just top of mind for you?
Yeah, I would say that I would like to share that Rosewood, I'm very passionate about it. We're successful, we're good at what we do. But I encourage organizations that if you have decision making power, whoever's listening to this, organizations also have the opportunity to be a vehicle for change. Whether you're a leader or you're an organization, you do have the ability to serve your customers and also find avenues to change your local communities, the world, your families, other people's families, whatever it is, to focus on both of those lanes.
I love it. It's a great message, Victoria.
Thank
I
you.
really enjoyed the conversation. I enjoyed meeting you at Pepperdine, and I was just thrilled that you were willing to carve out some time out of your busy day to meet with me and share your story. How should anyone watching that wants to get a hold of you find you?
Yeah, so my website, rosewoodmanagementgroup.com, and I am on Instagram, Victoria Rose Bowman, which I'm
Got it.
just starting to try to go into that whole social media marketing thing, but I am on there.
Got it. Okay. And of course, there's LinkedIn.
Oh, and LinkedIn,
And
of course.
yes, I will
And I
share.
have my email and all that stuff on there too.
Wonderful. So I'll put links to all of those in the notes below. And yeah, anyone looking for help, I highly recommend reaching out to Victoria. I think you'll be very, very happy. Victoria, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Always love chatting.